Big production.
Yo, what's good, guys? So we're back with another weekly ticker breakdown. I stopped doing requests because I think I'm just more interested in finding the opportunities and then presenting them to you guys type of thing, because I realized from before, like, a lot of the companies and like stock charts that would be requested were just terrible. So I'm going to try to keep it only good stocks and good opportunities, because honestly, it's going to be a nice summer and I could feel the vibes coming. So I'm mad bullish. We're going to start off with Air Canada. We're holding this bottom trend line here. I love that. It's looking solid. We could obviously break through still. It might keep going down, but I have this as our demand zone here. And keep in mind that Air Canada got bought out. It was at $23 a share or something like that. So if it goes anywhere under $23 a share, that's a buy. It's the government of Canada owns shares at that level. Like, they won't want to be going negative, right? So at that level, is if it gets there, is going to be an instant buy. But what I'm seeing here is just a massive ascending triangle pattern. We have $30 ish. That's like our supply zone, right? So over time, I think the big pattern that's going on is it's eventually gonna do one of these, and once it fills out, it'll get that boost up, right? When we look at the weekly time frame, we're stuck in this supply zone for a little while. This was at one point in time like a major zone that we had to break over, and we're there again. I assume something like this is probably going to happen again, where this is going to eventually be $52 is going to be a major supply again once we break over this $30 supply zone. So it's going to be a nice grind up once we break over 30, but it's looking good. In my opinion, buying Air Canada for long term seems like a nice play. We got Znga. I love this chart. So we got the back test of the upper trend line, and it looks like it's gonna go, man. Like, this is just, I think, easy money. So this is a name where it's not very volatile. It's a slow mover. Like, for it to get to $14, right? That's our first target. That's like a 30% trade. It's not like a massive, trade. You could use options to like boost the return that you want to get on the investment. But I'm really liking this chart. It's adding up so nicely on the technicals. It's really simple, right? Like, it's breaking up over this demand zone now, and now we're just taking the time playing out in this triangle pattern, and then we back tested, and now we're gonna run. So I have 1225. That's our like previous all-time high, I believe, or 52-week high. So eventually we're gonna get up to those levels. I think it's a solid buy right now if you want to get in. I really like Znga. So we got Tbix. This is one of the more risky plays in my opinion. There's only reason why I bought into this is because of the range I'm at, right? Because when I pull up my long decision here, this is pretty much the play. Like, I put in a small amount for like to give you a decent reward, right? So it's where on the chart that we're buying, and if we look here, massive volume coming in at this range. So likely that's probably telling us that like that range is where institutions want in or big money wants in, just because, like, look at this range, right? If we come back up if we come back to all-time highs, that's a fat trade. So I really like TBIX, to be honest, just because of the opportunity it's giving at this price level. Like, I realized from earlier, buying in at like 80 cents is a hard no. So this is like a good example to keep in the playbooks, I think. We got PLTR. I like PLTR still. We're in that phase where we're pulling back. I'm starting to realize there's so many opportunities that you could like use to make money in this market. Like, something I probably should have done was play puts once we got this first big down day here. That first down day was like the confirmation that we're going to pull back. So you could, if you're really long on this name, you could just buy puts, and then you'll make money on the way down as well, right? So that's a strategy that I'm going to look forward to on strong names that need a pullback, like strong names that have been ripping this, like, for example, PLTR from May 11th all the way until June 28th. So like a month straight of pretty much going up, you know it's going to have a pullback soon. You could play the puts, so you're still long on it, right? But you're also making money when it is going down. So I have these levels marked out, the 0.382, which is 23.5 and $22. I think that's the range where we're going to see some big buying coming in. Just because like it's already been on its a big tear. We got this B move, this pullback. We're gonna see that next wave up, I believe, coming soon, and that's gonna take us up towards the $30 range. And if we could break up over that supply zone, then things will be looking real juicy. So I got Aapl on here. I like Aapl just because this is another one of those. It's a beautiful pattern. Like it's like it's a simple pattern. Like follow these patterns and play them with like proper size, and you're gonna make money. Don't obviously go all in and like stress yourself out, but like if you manage your risk properly, like these patterns are golden. So it's a pretty much another ascending triangle, right? The thing is with Aapl is like it's the most popular company in the world. Like of course this is gonna go up, man. It's easy money, and it's sick because I could have this in my RSPs, completely forget about it, and just leave it, because over time it's going to go up. We got this beautiful pattern. Just look for these types of patterns on like big names. Amazon's another one where like it's going to break out soon, and when it goes, it's probably going to go to like 5k real quick. So we got Doc here. I really like this name. I really do. When we look at the weekly perspective, this demand zone, it's like I even marked it out, clear demand zone. It's just obvious now because we've come down 1, 2, 3, and then I've spent a long period of time just accumulating shares at this level. When we look at the volume that has recently come in on this name, it's driving us right up off the demand zone. Like people want in. So people want in at this $1.75 to $2.25 range. I think we're about to enter buy the dip mode. Anytime this dips, it's a buy until we get up to new levels where I think around like 350 will probably be that's a clear supply zone, right? So we'll be watching this. Once we get up here, we want to eventually break over it and then bounce on the top of it. Make sure that's our new demand zone, and then it's going to go again. So we could be sitting on this name, could be like one of those sleepers. Don't sleep on DOC. I believe they're like it's something to do with medical, like you book appointments online or something like that. I really don't know exactly what they do from like a fundamental like company perspective. All I know is that like the technicals look awesome on this name. We are extending a little bit far from the 80 MA, but like I said, it's I think it's buy the dip mode on this name. So anytime it comes back and pulls back to the 80 MA, it's probably going to be a buy until we get up to these like 330 levels. Mmed, I just wanted to go over this one because like don't sleep on it, because I feel like the psychedelics, once a bunch of this stuff gets passed and like people are actually testing like with positive results and all that stuff, like we don't know any of that stuff yet, right? So once that does start to get into play, the names like Mmed, Numi are gonna just absolutely tear. So just a reminder, like think of like the pot stocks back in, what was it, 2017 or 2018, something like that. Like the pot stock run was huge. So it's going to be something very similar to this. We got 650 range. That's our major supply. Anytime this name really dips heavy, I'm going to be looking to buy or looking to gather a position, because over time, like in maybe a few years, who knows what it is, I feel like this name is going to be well worth more than, what is it, 416 right now. So keep it on the watch list. I still like right now it's kind of choppy, right? It's goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. Like there's no smooth flow to this name right now, but we know that there's a clear range, and that's between 250 and 650. So if you want to gather shares of Mmed, like my strategy for what I'm doing is I'm going to be gathering when it's on like a big dip. So I learned from this one already. Anytime it goes back down to these levels, that's when you want to be getting shares. So that's probably what I'm going to be waiting for, being patient and letting it absolutely get dummied. But when it does, that's when I'll be buying. We got Mcfe. This name, I don't, something about this name I really like. When I look at the weekly perspective, it's just a staircase. It's literally, if we look at the line chart, it's just continuously going up and it's riding the 8 EMA. Looks great. I really like it. We have a massive bull flag on the weekly. I think we could potentially come back. I'm watching this zone here too. This $25 range, if we come back to there, is likely going to be a buy in my opinion. We ripped up and we've been sideways for like a long time since the beginning of June. So I really like this bull flaggish pattern. The longer it goes sideways, the better in my opinion. If we get a back test of this zone, it's a buy. Anytime we've come up, look, it's been just steady supply demand zone flips. So we could just go back and look at them, right? This was at one point our supply zone, right? We couldn't get over it. But once we get over, we back test again, we back test again, it rips. And then you could do the same thing up here. This comes up, right? It was our supply zone. Supply, supply, supply. We break over, and now it becomes our demand. Demand, same thing. So I'm looking for this to be the exact same thing. It's just going to play out all over again. I like charts that do this. They're easy, predictable. You know what I mean? Like, it's not rocket science. You're reading the market and you're trying to understand what the buyers and the sellers are doing. So this is a good name. I'd keep it on the watch list because it could be one of those that just keeps going, and then one day it's going to be $100 a share, and then we're going to be like, how the heck? And there's just continuous demand on names like this. So we got ETH and BTC to close us off. I like ETH. I like it. Although I will say this, it's kind of scary because when you look back at this, holy smokes. You look back at this and then I look over here and I go, oh, it looks kind of similar. So, I mean, we could for sure continue this downtrend. We can't, it seems like these trend lines here, these upper trend lines are holding us back. So I got this one marked out. If we could hold and break over 2,300, man, I think it's going to go back to all-time highs. There's big potential for that. Then again, I want to get 2,800, right? This is a major supply up here too. We'll mark that out. But overall, I like ETH, and it's growing exponentially in terms of like what the software developers are doing and all that stuff. There's a lot of bullish catalysts coming up. I'm pretty sure a bunch of ETH are going to get burned. It's looking good. I think it's going to be one of those names where all of a sudden it's going to be ripping and you're going to be like, holy crap, you know, like I didn't have any. So I have some. My position's average is probably around like 2,400 or something. I have no plans on touching it. I will not sell. I just won't. I never. I don't think I'll ever sell. We got BTC. I'm looking this on BTC. If we can't break up over out of this patterns here that we're going sideways, this little sideways pattern, if we can't break out of it for a fifth wave, and I got this trend line marked out, it's going to be, if we come back to this trend line, I'm not even going to think about it, and I'm going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin if I can, as much as I can, and then I'm just going to ride it out. I'll just leave it for a very, very long time because we all know what Bitcoin does. It just takes time. And you want to be buying when no one else wants to buy. That's my opinion. So I have this 2,900 zone. If we can hold this, if this continues to be our demand, like no complaints. But always be wary just in case, because if we do break below, I think we're going probably right to 20K. Because I feel like this trend line here is just asking for it. It just wants to get touched. So if it comes back to there, it's an instant buy in my opinion. And that's what I'm kind of waiting for Bitcoin. I'm waiting for if we get that bullish break and we're going to go back to a new bull market run, or we're going to ride out this little bear market for as long as it's got to go until we get to this trend line. So that's what I'm pretty much watching this week in the markets. Peace, guys.